So I'll actually ask Abhishek this. So Abhishek, you are in this business, right? So this is one of the things that you do, and you've probably had some success stories, and you've probably had some difficult horror stories. I'd love to hear bookends. I'd love to hear your favorite success and your perhaps even more favorite place of opportunity.
Sure. So, I think most of them have been, reasonable successes. We're working with a customer right now where we're archiving data from 15 different, actually it's probably more like 20. If we count instances, it's going to be around 40 or 50. So, but 15 different unique pieces of, software, all the major EHRs that you can think of, they're consolidating into Epic. And we are using that opportunity to actually create a enterprise data lake for them. And we're extracting data from that data lake, which is going into Epic, 5 years of data. So that's data that's converted. And then we're archiving all of that, including the documents in our system. So, they're super excited. We're super excited. We don't know of too many other instances where the same technology stack has been used to sort of achieve all three of these things. So that's certainly a success. In terms of, I'm trying to think of where we've had issues. And I think we've, one a customer on the West Coast, I know we had, it took a year to get the job done. And, I think they weren't very pleased with us, but essentially it was, back and forth with the vendor, the legacy vendor. And it was just a little too much. And, after a while, the and I can't blame the CIO for thinking, hey, you could have done something more or extra or different. And, I think we were a little bit of a, we couldn't meet the expectation of timeline.
But you,
And
you couldn't meet it because you weren't getting what you needed from the vendor who was being sunset. The customer, your ultimate customer, may have just said, I hired you to do this, right? I hired you to solve this problem with them. And you're saying, well, I've done as much as I can. There's no, because I didn't even have any contract with them. You're the one that it gets complicated, right?
complicated. And it was one of those situations I mentioned earlier where it took us a while to figure out, what was wrong, right, with the data that was delivered, because, some data was missing, and it takes a little bit of time. And by the time we went back to the vendor, they were again, and it took 2 or 3 iterations, and that really extended the timeline. And, the
Sure.
customer was happy
Yeah,
about
if
it.
you have to go back to the vendor who's being sunsetted multiple times, they're probably like, we didn't want to deal with you the first time, and now you're coming back again, right? So their tolerance gets lower and lower for cooperation.